Here are the solutions to the final 3 problems on your worksheet. The farthest problem to the left, our solution was x is less than -1. And our graph should have had -1 and 0 on it, with an empty circle at -1 shading to the left. For the middle problem, you should have ended up with x is less than or equal to 7 6/7. I rounded mine to 7.857. Your graph should have had 0 and 7 6/7, or whatever you rounded to, a solid circle at that number you rounded to, and you should have shaded to the left. For number 3, your solution was x is greater than or equal to 2. You should have had 0 and 2 on your graph, with a solid circle at 2 shading to the right. If you got all 3 of these correct, please go on to Khan Academy and complete these activities listed below. They get harder as you go down the list, so I'd suggest starting with one-step inequalities. If you're stuck, please feel free to watch any of these videos again, or to watch the video available on Khan Academy. If you got any one of these wrong, please continue watching this video and watch the explanation for any problems that you got wrong before moving on to Khan Academy. Let's look at how to solve these last 3 inequalities. For the first one, -x plus 10 minus 7x is greater than 18. I need to combine like terms before I can solve. So what that tells me is that before I do anything, I'd better turn this -x and this -7x into one x term. So I know that when I add those, I get -8x. Then I've still got that plus 10, and that stays as greater than 18. I didn't change the value of either side of that equation, or inequality rather. So the next step, I need to get -8x by itself before I can do anything else. So I'll take away 10 from both sides. On the left, that leaves me with just -8x. On the right, I have 18 minus 10, which is 8. It was greater than, it stays greater than. I subtracted. I did not multiply or divide by a negative, so I don't flip the sign. Now I have -8 times x on the left, and I need to get x by itself. So in order to isolate x, I'll divide both sides by -8. When I do this, on the left-hand side, I just get x. And on the right-hand side, I have positive 8 divided by -8. That's a -1. I divided by a negative, so I need to flip the direction of my sign. So my solution is x is less than -1. I do need to make sure to graph this solution, and as you know, I only care about 2 values being on that number line, 0 and -1. Because this is just less than, I'm going to put an empty circle at -1. That means I'm not including -1 in my solution set, but it's still an important value. And I want the values where x is smaller than that, so I'll shade to the left. Let's take a look at the middle problem. 7x minus 10 is less than or equal to 45. When solving this problem, I can't touch this 7x until that minus 10 is gone. So I'll start by adding 10 to both sides. When I do this on the left, 7x minus 10 plus 10, that just leaves me with 7x. Is less than or equal to, because I'm not multiplying or dividing by a negative. And then 45 plus 10, that's 55. All right. So the next step is dividing both sides by 7x to get x totally by itself. Since I'm dividing by a positive number, I will not need to worry about flipping the direction of my inequality symbol. When I divide both sides by 7, I get just x on the left. I don't flip the direction of my sign. And 55 divided by 7 is going to be pretty close to 8, right? Because 8 times 7 is 56. If you check on your calculator, it'll give you about 7.857. Now I need to graph this. When I graph this, again, it doesn't matter that I got a decimal, right? I said it was 7 6/7. I can mark 7 6/7 anywhere I please on my number line because that establishes my scale. So that's an exact solution to my problem. Because I'm looking at x is less than or equal to, since I've got that or equal to, I'm going to put a filled in circle there. And I want all the values where x is smaller than that. So once again, I'm going to shade to the left. Let's take a look at our third and final problem in this section. 3 plus 6x is greater than or equal to 5x plus 5. I need to get my x's on one side and my constants on the other. Let's put the x's on the left-hand side. So if I want x's on this side, 6x can stay, but 3 needs to go. So I'll start by subtracting 3 from both sides. When I do this on the left, those 3's cancel out, but that 6x stays. So I end up with 6x is greater than or equal to 5x plus 2. Next, I want all my x's gone from the right-hand side because I only want that 2 there. I only want the constant. So I'm going to take away 5x from both sides. When I do this, I end up with x on the left is greater than or equal to 2. I'll label my number line. I know that the numbers I need are 0 and 2. Since it's greater than or equal to, I'm going to put a solid circle at 2 because 2 could be included in my answer set. And I want all the values where x is larger than 2. So I'll shade to the right where the larger values are. At this point, you've completed the worksheet. What I'd like you to do, please, is write what it says below, go on to Khan Academy, and complete the activities listed below. They get harder as you go down the list, so I would suggest starting with one-step inequalities and moving on from there. If you need any help, please feel free to refer to these videos or watch some of the videos on Khan Academy.